Welcome to The Explainer. We're all about breaking down big topics into guides you can actually use. And today, we're jumping right into Bangkok's crazy competitive food scene to figure out a winning game plan for Indian restaurants. Okay, so in a city that is obsessed with food, you'd think Indian cuisine would be right up there, right? Well, you might be surprised. A big study actually found it's only the fifth most popular choice for locals. Ouch. That's a tough spot to be in, for sure. But hey, don't worry, there's some really good news here. When you dig into the research from places like Siam University and listen to what local food critics are saying, a super clear path to success starts to show up. This isn't about crossing your fingers and hoping for the best. It's all about having the right strategy. All right, so here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we'll size up the competition. Then, we'll get into the three big things you've got to nail: the food, the vibe, and the marketing. And at the end, we'll wrap it all up into a simple winning formula. Let's do it. All right, first things first. You got to know what you're up against, right? So let's look at the hard data, what the research actually says about what people in Bangkok want to eat. So take a look at this. I mean, no surprise, Thai food is number one. We're in Bangkok after all. But look at who's next. We're talking Japanese, Chinese, Italian. These are absolute giants in the food world. The takeaway here is huge. It's not enough to just have good Indian food. You have to be so compelling, so amazing, that you can pull diners away from their go-to favorites. Okay, so that's the competition. So the big question is, how do you even begin to stand out? Well, the research is pretty clear. It all starts with the food. And this is so important. The research makes it crystal clear. People aren't just looking for a meal to fill them up. They're looking for an experience, something authentic, something unique, something they definitely can't make themselves at home. That's the magic they're willing to pay for. And boom, here's a perfect example. You see quotes like this from food writers who know their stuff. They're not just saying, "Oh, the curry was nice." They're raving about places like Indus because it gets the authentic flavor right. See, it's not about being just another generic Indian place. It's about being the real deal. That's how you get people talking and coming back again and again. Okay, but having incredible food? That's just step one. It's the price of entry. Once you've got those amazing flavors down, the next big step is to create an entire world around them. You want your customers to feel like they've been transported somewhere else. And check this out. The study actually found that people are actively looking for that feeling of cultural immersion. It's a huge reason they choose one restaurant over another. They don't just want to eat Indian food. They want to feel like they're having a little piece of an Indian experience, even if it's just for an evening. And what's great is the research even gives us some really concrete tips on how to do this. We're talking about hitting all the senses, the music playing in the background, the pictures on the walls and menus, even using unique, authentic plates and cutlery. All these little details add up to create a vibe that feels totally genuine and makes the meal unforgettable. All right, so let's say you've done it. The food is incredible and authentic. The atmosphere is totally immersive. That's awesome. But how does anyone find out about you? This is where we need to talk about marketing, specifically for today's diner in Bangkok. And let's be real, the numbers here speak for themselves. Your customers are online. A lot. We're talking hours and hours every week. So if you're still putting all your money into old school newspaper ads, you are completely missing the boat. You're just not where your customers are. Yeah, the whole game has changed. Forget what used to work. That same university study found that the number one thing that gets someone to try a new restaurant is hearing about it from other people. What we call word of mouth, online reviews, social media buzz. That stuff is pure gold. This chart just makes it so obvious, doesn't it? Look how massive word of mouth and internet are compared to regular old ads. So what does that mean for you? It means your time and money should be focused right there. Get people talking, encourage those online reviews, and build a great online presence. Okay, so let's put it all together. We've talked about the competition, the food, the vibe, the marketing. All the data, all the expert opinions, they all point to one simple but really powerful formula. It really comes down to these three key things. Number one, get the product right. That means authentic taste, unique dishes, and food that looks beautiful. Two, build the experience. Create that immersive cultural vibe with music, decor, the whole nine yards. And three, master modern marketing. Focus everything on getting that good word of mouth going online. If you can nail those three things, you've got a rock-solid plan for growth. But before we finish, I want to leave you with one last thought. Everything we've talked about, the food, the experience, the marketing, that's how you win today. But this quote here from Masala magazine, well, it kind of points to what's next. See, getting the authenticity right gets you in the game, no question. But what's going to keep you winning in the long run? That's innovation. So the final question for every restaurant owner out there is this. Once you've perfected authenticity, what's next? How are you going to be the one to challenge expectations, to reinvent the wheel, and get a whole new generation of diners fired up about Indian food in Bangkok?